Miss Mayor, we're live.
Thank you, David. Good evening. Welcome to our first council meeting for 2025. I would now like to call to order the meeting of January 15th, 2025. Pastor Flores, can you come up for an invocation, please?
Thank you, Mrs. Mayor.
Thank you.
It's a great privilege. Can everyone please stand? Pongan sus pies, por favor. As we go to prayer and invite God's presence, the invocation, let us remember those who have suffered recently through the tragedies of our fires here in Pasadena, Altadena, Palisades, Hollywood, and other areas. Also, that we keep in prayer Reverend Jackson, whose wife recently passed away as well, too. So, yeah, let us pray. Yo quiero leer en Salmo capítulo 34, dice, cercano está Jehová a los quebrantados de corazón y salva a los contritos de espíritu. Muchas son las aflicciones de justo, pero de todas ellas te librará Jehová. Gracious God, you are God, and God, you are good. We are thankful, God, that we can come to you when we are broken, vulnerable, and in need of your mercy and grace. We pray, Lord, for our community, our extended community in the valley, Lord, to Palisades, Lord, we pray for Pasadena, Altadena, Hollywood. Families, Lord, that have lost lives, and families, Lord, that have lost homes, memories, culture. We pray, God, Lord, that you somehow would draw near to them in the midst of this challenge, and may they experience your salvation and your healing. Yo quiero, Señor, invitar su presencia en esta reunión. Gracias por el liderazgo de la ciudad. We're grateful for our leadership of our city, Lord. Guide our Madam Mayor tonight, Lord, as she leads and chairs. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor Flores. Chief, would you mind leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Right hand over your arm.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Chief. City Clerk, may I have a roll call, please?
Yes, Madam Mayor. Mayor Avila,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Damian,
Here.
Councilmember Ayala,
Here.
Councilmember Estrada, Councilmember Lozano. Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Attorney, do we have anything to report from closed sessions?
Thank you, Mayor. With regard to item 1, conference with legal counsel, existing litigation, there is no reportable action. Item 2, conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, that item was continued. And with regard to item 3, conference with labor negotiator, pursuant to Government Code 54957.6, unrepresented employee, city attorney, direction was given by consensus to the city manager to go out for an RFQ for legal services. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, City Attorney. Okay, now for announcements. The City Council are also members of the Board of Directors of the Housing Authority and Finance Authority, which are concurrently convening with the City Council this evening. And each council member is paid an additional stipend of $30 for attending the Housing Authority and $50 for attending the Finance Authority meeting.
Madam Mayor, do you mind closing the special meeting?
Yes, can I have a motion to close the special meeting, please?
I'll make a motion. I'll second.
A motion by Councilmember Estrada, a second by Mayor Pro Tem Damian. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Ayala,
Yes.
Councilmember Estrada,
Yes.
Councilmember Lozano,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Damian,
Yes.
Mayor Avila.
Yes,
Motion carries 5-0.
thank you.
Mayor, very briefly before you go to public comments, I would like to close on behalf of Claudia D. Jackson, who passed away on January 9th, 2025. Her celebration of life will be on Friday, January 24th, at the American Legion on Main, located at 4725, and that will be held at 10 a.m. I would also like to send my condolences to Pastor Jackson and his family. Thank you, Mayor.
Mayor, can we make sure that we send out a scroll on behalf of the city?
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Absolutely. My condolences go out as well to Pastor Jackson and the family. Pastor Jackson is an icon here in our city, and him and his wife have served our community for many years. So again, my condolences as well.
Mayor,
Yes.
I want to also share my condolences to all those that have lost their lives in the fires at Palisades and as well as the Altadena area. And we also recognize and thank City Treasurer Valenzuela, who shared her family's home that partially burned in Altadena. Thank you.
Yeah, and then Mayor, just really briefly, jumping on Councilmember Lozano, also like to extend my condolences to those families lost and the families that have lost their homes. But I also want to thank staff. When we had those winds here in the city,
That's right.
I just want to say that they did an amazing job between Enrique, the Police Department, Public Works, Community Development. Our residents at Clark Terrace were without power for over a day. Some of those residents weren't even aware. So I want to also thank one of our seniors who's very active at our senior center, Nicholas. He actually reached out to me as well to inform me that those residents had no power. Some of those residents, in fact, I believe there were 17 residents that had not eaten and had no way of getting a meal. And so, and also RCS, Manny and his staff. Manny and Ron got together. They got some meals together, had them delivered to these residents, as well as all the amazing work that they did around the city. So staff, I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much for the hard work that you guys did and for assisting our residents, even though, you know, it's not our city's obligation to assist the residents at that Clark Terrace. They did an amazing job going out of the way to make sure that they were taken care of. So again, thank you for that, staff.
Absolutely. And I want to echo that. What Southern California is going through right now, it's absolutely something unimaginable. And the whole state has come together, not just our city, the whole state has come together to help those in need. But of course, we look at our staff. The winds were horrible that night. And I know they were working around the clock, making sure power lines were not affecting anyone, even though power was out, trees were down. Our staff from Parks and Recreation and our police department were diligently checking our city, making sure it was safe. All our departments stepped up. They were out there providing help, providing guidance for our residents. As Mayor Pro Tem Damian said, it's teamwork and it's people like all of you that care about our community that helps us thrive. So thank you to everybody that was part of this. And I mean, every single department joined in to make sure that our city was safe because we weren't expecting something like this. If you all recall, we were expecting a bad hurricane last year and we prepared and they told us the winds were going to be horrific. Well, this windstorm was worse than what we expected last time. And I appreciate everybody for stepping up and making sure. I know the school district closed down Wednesday to make sure that the schools were safe and make sure that our students were being safe. So they had to close down. So everybody worked together. And just as of yesterday, Walmart is providing food for those affected by the winds and fire. So if you were not informed, it is on social media. They're serving food from 11 to 4 p.m. through Saturday or Sunday, was it? Through Sunday. So it is on our social media page. But everybody's coming together and helping those in Altadena. I know our police department has been helping the burned cities. They've been taking turns sending our police officers out there, and of course our fire department. What will we do without the fire department? They have been there working tirelessly, and we appreciate every single one of you that have come together to help each other, to help the community, to help strangers. And that's what this community is about. So thank you, everybody. Thank you for bringing that up. Appreciate it. Okay, being that we have no proclamations and commendations, we're going to go to public communications. Do we have anybody to speak?
Yes, Mayor, we have two. So we'll begin with Irma Morales with the Bolton Park Library.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor Ayala, council members, city staff, and community members. I wanted to talk about the libraries does have resources on the library's webpage about the fire and emergency resources. So if you go to lacountylibrary.org, there will be, we call them tiles, little squares that have information about emergency resources. I'll talk about some of our upcoming programs now. Our story time continues for little ones. It's on Thursday, January 16th, tomorrow, at from 11 to 12. We are also having a program sponsored by Department of Mental Health, and it's called Mental Health Promoters, and it's called Preserving Your Memories. It's on Friday, January 17th at 3 p.m. I have taken some flyers over to the senior center for them to know about the programs. We have a vision board art craft for adults. That will be Saturday, January 25th at 3 p.m. And one of our upcoming programs I wanted to tell everybody is we have our free income tax preparation on Saturday, February 1st from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the library. So it says if you've made under $60,000 in 2024, trained Cal Poly juniors and seniors and recent alumni volunteers can prepare and electronically file your federal and state income tax returns at no cost to you. That will be our first free tax preparation program. We'll have more upcoming in the next few months. Lastly, there are some virtual programs that are on our library's website. All those programs can be found on the library's website. You go to events, if you go to virtual programs, if you want to find out about programs for the library, specifically go to our location, Baldwin Park Library, and there will be programs there. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor and council also want to add that Irma shared the digital flyers and the calendar of events. Those will be forwarded to your emails.
Thank you.
Next, I'll call up Sarah Wu.
Hi, my name is Sarah Wu. I'm speaking on behalf of my parents tonight. This is my mom, Lee Chen Wong. Earlier today, my father was at our warehouse, which is located on the 10 and 605 freeway area, and he told me that two individuals came up to our property and threatened that the city had a permit to demolish our property on Monday, this coming Monday, which is Martin Luther King Jr.'s Day. They walked all the way up to our property into the driveway area before my dad was able to speak to them, in which they said they were from IDEMO, and they said that, once again, they said that the city had a permit to demolish our property this Monday. So then my parents went over to the city planning department to speak to Maria Torres, who told them that there was no such permits for our property to be demolished or any property on our street to be demolished. So due to the nature of the threat and the event, my parents did alert the police department as well. And the operator told my parents that there wasn't anything they can do about this situation, and they would have to wait until Monday to call back if something were to happen. As a resident of this city, and as our property is being threatened in such a way, we are concerned for my family's safety and the safety of our property. As we have spoken to as much people as we can in this city, we aren't sure of what to do and would like some assistance in helping us to protect our property, or any guidance on how we should proceed in this situation to protect our business and our well-being. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Can we have somebody speak to them, please?
Mayor, that wraps up all requests for comment.
Okay, thank you for that. Do we have anybody in the public that would like to come up and speak?
John Rios, resident. One of the things that I've noticed with its heavy winds and everything, over the weekend, I had to call Danny Damon because there was a taco vendor right in the corner of our house right there. And they were right there because that lot belongs to the city. Code enforcers, they weren't working on the weekend. So I called Danny. I think, Danny, thank you for saying the PD will take care of it. But one thing I've noticed over the weekend, we started getting vendors all over the place. Next to the Wells Fargo over here on Merced, they were selling blankets, ponchos, and you name it, they were there. And then on Bear Growth and I think it's right in the corner next to 7-Eleven, they were selling fruit. And then down the street going to Tracy, there was another vendor right there. And then on the nighttime, I already talked to the mayor about, and she noticed it too yesterday, I think, or Monday, that there was another taquero right there at in front of Jack in the Box. But it seems like, they come out like cockroaches, man. They know that we don't have no code enforcement over the weekend, so they come out right away. I don't know where they gain their information that there's no code enforcement. I talked to Carlos, and he informed me that they're going to be working this weekend, I told him, give me your number, which I have, and I have Danny's number. I'm going to have to get a couple more numbers when I see something like that. As a resident for almost 50 years, I'm proud of my city. I don't want no Puente, West Covina, even Covina is getting full with street vendors. We want this city to be clean. So if you guys could help us, that's a big help to us. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Do we have anyone else wanting to speak? Before I go on, I want to welcome Dr. Salazar from the Baldwin Park School District in attendance today. Thank you for being here. Being that there is no one else wanting to speak, I will now close public communication.
Madam Mayor,
Yes,
may I just take a minute real quick?
yes.
I just want to address two things, Chief, regarding the Miss Wu. Obviously, I know there's limited capacity and the police department didn't really give much resources because obviously it's the weekend, or I guess when they called in, but we need to somehow formulate so that when residents like that call, obviously someone's gone on their property and maybe address it in a different type of way. So if we could maybe gather some of the administrative level officers from within the department to at least have something that's more comforting for this individual. I'm not blaming the person that spoke with him, but the fact that we need to at least have some kind of open-end type of solution for individuals like that. I could understand they're scared. They're coming here. They don't know how the process works. So if we could just kind of work on something like that for the future, because it's the police department that residents are going to look at. That's going to be their priority. I mean, they're going to call 911 or come and seek help. But just want to note that, Chief. Thank you very much. And then secondly, I just want to thank the librarian. Thank you very much because you do a phenomenal job. And I was at an event not too long ago where they complimented you. Forget your name, Mr. Because I know I was there for an event with you, but I want to say your leadership is phenomenal and you exemplify the professionalism and what the County of Los Angeles provides in the library sector. Thank you. Then lastly, I just want to say, Mr. Rios, and I spoke to Mr. Tuttle. They're very good friends of mine. Okay, obviously we've gone up and down, and we've known that in the past, and that's fine. At least we could agree to disagree. But I do want to pay tribute to you now that I'm here at the City Council, because during the time that we had excessive amount of vendors throughout Baldwin Park, the businesses, those that would never have thought they would contact me, I was no longer elected, they would be the last ones that I would thought they would have contacted me regarding complaining the amount of vendors. But I have to attribute to you and Mr. Tuttle, because you kept on that, and obviously the change came in. Vendors are welcome to Baldwin Park. There is a permit process. And last week, I'll give you a good example. There was one individual that was selling the corn. Well, I kind of looked, I didn't see anyone there. The person was urinating in the bushes, okay? And then coming back out. I mean, so there's a sanitary issue there, right? And of course, then you got a line of people that are going to buy the product itself. But there are permits, but I just want to give you that credit, and Mr. Tuttle that I spoke to during December, because you need to be recognized for that, because you did state you stood up for the community. That's important. All right, thank you.
Thank you for that. And now moving to consent calendar, is there anyone looking to pull any items from the calendar? Wow, nobody?
Yes, Mayor, I'd like to pull items number 4 and 7.
7. Okay. So with the exceptions of item 4 and 7, I'd like to make a motion to approve items 1 through 6. Again, exceptions of item 4 and 7. That was pulled by Danny Damian.
I'll go in second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Ayala,
Yes.
Councilmember Estrada,
Yes.
Councilmember Lozano,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Damian,
Yes.
Mayor Avila.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Damian, the floor is yours with item 4.
Thank you, Mayor. And this is for what's Manny's staff report, but so I'm looking at the recommendation and I'm glad to see that we're looking to move the entire downtown street market and keeping it at Morgan Park. I know that worked out really well last year. But just looking at the cost of what the street market usually would cost us, I would like for during the budget process for Public Works, the police department and RCS to adjust their salaries. Since we won't be on the street anymore, we should be able to get some cost savings there as well. And then also, Manny, see about the contract services, if there's a possibility to eliminate the $65,000 for contract services that we have at the Morgan Park, and then just keeping the 198 that we would have, or is that 196? Yeah, 198 that we would have at the street market. See what it is that we can do, because I know that by moving it or keeping it at the park now, we're going to be able to save a lot and over time, and then the contract services, keeping it at Morgan Park. So if between the departments, RCS, PD, Public Works, Romani, if we can look at the overtime and try to eliminate some of that during the budget process for the street market. That's all that I have. Does anybody else?
Vice Mayor, so everything Main Street will no longer be part of the actual concert series. Is that what I'm getting here?
Yeah, so part of the staff report is we did recommend staff last year, based on the way it played out last year was the first year that they changed the design and the layout. And so we got really good feedback from not only staff, ourselves, but also the residents that they wanted us to just leave it at the park because it's fresher. It's a more family oriented, people can go take their lawn chairs, their blankets, kids are able to play in the playground or lay on the grass while enjoying the concert. So when we compared it to the street market and to what we had at the concert at the park, we felt it was a better decision to just keep the 10 weeks there at Morgan Park. And with that being said, because of the cost that comes into having 2 stages and then the rest of the contract services, the lights, the restrooms down at the street, we would be able to save some money within the budget for this year.
And safety was a lot better too, for our police department to maneuver in and out of the park area because it's so much, there's so much space. And so it's just a lot safer. The street market was great. It was a great idea, but it is very tight. So that's why we looked into leaving it at the park because now we're in the grass area and it's a lot bigger. And like Mr. Damien said, it's a lot cooler there in that area versus being on the street.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Anyone else? Would you like
All
to
right,
make
so
any-
if there's any more other comments with the recommendations for the adjust their salaries and the elimination of the contract services, I'll make a motion to approve item 4.
Second? Roll call, please.
We have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Damian and a second by Mayor Avila. Councilmember Ayala,
Yes.
Councilmember Estrada,
Yes.
Councilmember Lozano,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Damian,
Yes.
Mayor Avila.
Yes.
Motion carries as amended 5-0.
Thank you, City Clerk. Item number 7 is also yours, Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mayor. And I was present at the SOC meeting when we were going over the grants for these nonprofit organizations. And I think it's a great use of Measure BP money. But my concern will be the same as was addressed at the SOC meeting last year, where I want to make sure that before we give any funding to any of these leagues, we make sure that each and every one of them are in good standing as a 501c3, and B, that we verify the rosters to make sure that we have a minimum of 70% BP residents. So my question to you will be, will we be notified before funding is dispersed to these organizations after you guys have verified that they're all in good standing and that you have verified the rosters, or will you just verify a staff and then just hand out the money?
Our plan right now is to do the verification both on the 501c3 and the roster at the staff level, and to update it because we had done one round of verification preliminary before the holidays, but now 2 months have gone by and right. Some didn't have a roster fully compiled yet, so we will do that before we release any money. Our plan was to, from this point on, do it at the staff level. If you would like to have some sort of look back, that we come back and present a already verified list and say which ones have stayed compliant and which ones have not, we can certainly do that. Or you can trust us to do that verification and then proceed with whomever passes and checks both boxes.
When you verify the rosters, are we just going to take a spreadsheet from the organization saying BP resident, or how are we going to actually verify? And I ask that because there's one application that I reviewed that although they may practice sometimes in Baldwin Park, they're more of a tournament. They're out. So with those, the majority of them are not always Baldwin Park residents. So how are you going to verify that the 70%?
We'll look at the
roster-
name and we'll ask for an address or some verification of an
verification?
address. Yes.
Okay.
Do these leagues, do they ask for proof of residence, like an ID with their name and address on it? I mean, that would be ideal, would be easier for us to verify if they're already asking for proof.
So Little League, as an example, they require that you live in the district, oftentimes. So that may be less of a burden, but we will still verify, the kid's address. In the case of a club team, like the football club team here, they do draw kids from all over the region. So they may not meet the roster requirement that all kids be, 70% of the kids be from BP. So, we'll verify their address of each of the kids.
Mayor, do you mind if I just add 2 cents just because I serve as a board member for one of the local leagues? I just want to add that, like the verification, it's possible that you can partner with the local school district because in order for us to get use of the school fields, we have to prove that 90% of of the players are residents of the city or at least attend schools within Baldwin Park, right? So it doesn't necessarily have the residency requirement as much as it has that they are students. So 90% of the roster, which is higher than your 70%. So if you partner with the school district to understand if they're in good standing, it's already a good indication because the school district is verifying student ID numbers and it's all driven. And so every single Little League, and I can only speak for Little Leagues or anybody that uses school facilities for their practice, has to submit all of that to Facilitron, and that's all validated information. So there might be an opportunity to partner with the school district to avoid redundancies in staff time of verifying. And again, that's 90% of the 90% of players have to either be a resident or a student in BPUSD. Also, just 2 cents as it might be a burden to prove the residency requirements at the front end because most of that is given at the back end. So like the season, so right now the operating cost for Little Leagues, it's now. Well, they're getting the sites ready for games, and the verification isn't done until. So when is it over? In June, right? So everything is submitted to the school district in June. So I know that based off of the current, my current understanding is that there's a deposit given. There's a deposit given to the leagues before
In advance.
In advance, right?
50%.
So perhaps, and it's just my 2 cents as a community member and a member of a Little League who is requesting funds, is that perhaps that the burden of proof doesn't have to be given for the advance as much as it has to be given at the back end for the remaining funds, or have to pay back. If when you're receiving the balance of funds, you don't meet that burden of proof, then you would have to return or something to that effect, because it's nearly impossible to gather unless you're asking for last year's roster. So if you're asking for 2024 rosters, which technically fall ball went, well, yeah, it's all 2024 rosters, all the Little Leagues would have that and submit it to
Right.
the school district.
Although at the time of registration though, Chris, isn't that when the kid shows that they live in the district, that they live, not just in the school district, but they live in the Little League district, because that's also another requirement.
Yes. So Little League no longer requires that you live, you can now go.
Oh, play anywhere?
Correct. Well, yeah.
But that's why I asked the question. We need to get proof from whatever organization, youth program that we're dealing with, that they have proof from that person that they live there. For example, either the driver's license with their name on it or a school record, because I know they can get a school record with their name and address on there. So if we have that proof, it would make it easier for us to verify that information.
And so just sorry, I didn't want to speak too much, but if that information or whatever is required can be passed off to these organizations now, because all the Little Leagues have taken registrations at this point. So if there's any additional information that hasn't been collected, we should relay that to those leagues so that we're ensuring that that information is being collected.
Yeah. Shirley, you wanted to say something? Sorry.
I've been reaching out to each one of them, and I am requesting for the roster to include the addresses. And some of the coaches have also asked me if they could, to submit the proof. So they know that we're working with them to get all the information. But I want to say I have the 7, probably 4 or 5 rosters, and maybe 5 or 6 their 501c3s have been looked into, and we've been working with the requesters.
Yeah, Mayor, if I may, another thought on efficiencies would be to have the agencies sign a certification. So it's more of a trust and verify approach, but just adding that level of confirmation that they certify that they meet these requirements.
It's a good idea. We can do that in addition to our own level of verification.
Yeah, I like that idea.
However much and deep we can do ourselves, Shirley and myself.
Okay.
So, but we will go as deep as we can on our own and then ask for that certification. That's a good idea.
And just as a reminder, our goal is to serve as much youth as possible because we all know that when our students are involved in any activities, they are more likely to stay out of trouble and more focused in school. So that is the goal here, and we just want to make sure that everybody's doing what they have to do so they can receive these monies. Mr. David, anything else?
Yes, Madam Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Now, how are we tracking the transparency? Obviously, the money that's being allocated. So if someone wants to go online to see how it's being spent, how much or what is left. Is there a formula for that? Do we have something formula?
So for every dollar that will be given to the organization, it'll be matched against receipts of, they're eligible to spend the money on equipment, on training, on travel, but all of it will be backed up by receipts.
Okay.
So that'll be, that's part of the financial record of all invoices that get paid, and that's all.
So we'll have a uniformity of the expenditures from the funding that was provided then.
There'll be a backup for every dollar that was spent.
Okay.
Yes.
You know, I think would be nice is for us at least to have some kind of annual type of documents that we could see overall, what the expenditure was, say for this year versus next year and so on and so forth.
For this grant.
Mhm.
Yes,
Mhm.
sure.
All right.
All right. Cool. With pending final verification to make sure that before the funding is given to these organizations, I will make a motion to approve with final verification of them all being in good standing as a 501c3, and that we verify the rosters to be minimum 70% Baldwin Park residents. That is my motion for item number 7.
I'll second.
Okay, motion made by Mayor Pro Tem Damian and second by Mr. Lozano. Can I have roll call, please?
Yes, Councilmember Ayala,
Yes.
Councilmember Estrada,
Yes.
Councilmember Lozano,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Damian,
Yes.
Mayor Avila.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you for that. Now, being that there is no public hearing today, we will go into report of officers. That's item number 8. And number 8 is adoption of resolution number 2025-01 for city council appointments of official representation and alternates for the various agencies and organizations. Enrique?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. And on the report, we included a spreadsheet, if you will, that's probably a more practical way of looking at all of the organizations for which you have to make an appointment and a selection for representation. That's attached to the report that you have had.
Yes.
Or the actual resolution, which is what you're looking at, Madam Mayor.
Yes.
So if we go by the table, this table, then we can, what I suggest you do, Madam Mayor and Council, is that you take each one at a time and you see who the current representatives are, and some of them, starting at the very top, such as the San Gabriel Valley Water Association, what we have shown on here, that we're currently inactive. We're currently inactive. Are you
That's
looking
a
at,
sanitation?
you're looking at the resolution? Oh. Can you find this? If you follow this, the spreadsheet.
This was pretty easy too, whichever one you want to follow.
Okay, I have my notes on this one, but
Okay.
I can follow the resolution.
Mhm.
Yeah, so the San Gabriel Valley, that we're currently inactive. We have been inactive. So part of why we included it here is for you to consider if it's something that's of interest to any of you that you feel that we should reactivate that membership, in which case we would. And the annual fee for that association is pretty nominal, $100 a year. It doesn't, from a money perspective, it doesn't cost as much, but it's just whether anyone is interested in being active in this organization. So, and then if you follow all the others, then by virtue of voluntary self-nominations, so who wants to be the official representative. Then once you reach a consensus on each one of them, then you move on to the next one until you have representatives for all of them. Then you can take a motion to approve all the representatives for all of the organizations.
Okay. So for the first section, do we want to go ahead and continue the membership?
I would say no.
Is that everyone in agreement not to continue that? Do we need to take a roll call for that or no? Okay,
So Madam Mayor,
yes.
it appears that it's been vacant for quite some time. Might as well just leave it vacant.
Inactive.
Yeah, inactive,
Yes.
excuse me.
Yeah, inactive. Okay, so we'll leave it inactive. Okay, for section 2, it's the city council of the city of Baldwin Park does hereby appoint the following persons as representatives and alternate for the Los Angeles County Sanitation number 15 and 22. The meetings are the fourth Wednesday at 1:30. Joint Administration Office. There is a stipend of 125 per meeting. The representatives at this time are Councilmember Estrada, and we have one vacancy as an alternate.
So, Mayor,
Yes.
the Los Angeles County Sanitation District numbers 15 and 22 have to go to the mayor, so
Mhm.
you would have to be the delegate.
Mhm.
and
Is
then
that right?
You will have to appoint an alternate.
Well, thank you for that. I did see that, but I thought you may have missed it. But okay. I will go ahead and take that. Do we have an alternate?
I can be your alternate if you'd like.
That's perfect, yes. So I will be the representative and Mr. Estrada will be the alternate. Councilmember Estrada, sorry. Okay, for section 3, the city council of the city of Baldwin Park does hereby appoint the following persons as representatives and alternates for the League of California Cities, Los Angeles County Division. It's on the first Thursday of the month at 6 p.m. in various locations, and members do not receive a stipend. Right now, I am the representative and council member Damian, or excuse me, Mayor Pro Tem Damian is the alternate. Does anyone want to take that?
Me.
Or do you want to keep it as is?
You want it?
I'm okay keeping it if nobody else wants it.
You want to keep it? We can just, you want to be the alternate? Be the alternate if you want.
Okay, I mean, if Councilmember Damon doesn't want to, I can be your alternate.
Okay, Mr. Estrada, Councilmember Estrada will be the alternate. Okay, for number 4, the city of Baldwin Park does hereby appoint the following persons as reps and alternate members for Civil Defense Area D General Membership Meeting. This is held the third Thursday at 8:30 a.m. Area D office. Members do not receive a stipend. We have the representative chief of police, and the alternate we have Councilmember Estrada. No, it doesn't. It could be anybody. Do we want to keep it as is or anybody else interested?
Third Thursday of the
And we
month.
do have to have the chief there, correct?
As a primary.
So, I mean, if anybody wants to be alternate,
Anybody willing to be the alternate on this?
I'll go ahead and be the alternate.
Okay, we'll have Councilmember Lozano as the alternate. Okay, for section 6, the city council of the city of Baldwin Park does hereby appoint the following persons as reps and alternate members for Independent Cities Association. This is held the second Tuesday at 7 p.m. Rotating council members, or council chambers, excuse me. There is no stipend. Right now, we have the representative, Councilmember Ayala, and I am the alternate. I'm willing to move out of the alternate if somebody else is willing to take that.
Madam Mayor, this is one of those in which we have been inactive the last 2 years. We
Okay.
were active 3 years ago. And then we went inactive, so we discontinued the membership. Right now, we're an inactive member.
Okay,
And it's about $4,200 a year for the membership.
I would say we stay inactive if everybody else agrees.
Section 6, right?
Number 6, yes. So we will remain inactive and save ourselves $4,200 a year. Very good. Section 7, the City Council of City of Baldwin Park does hereby appoint the following persons as reps and alternate members of the Independent Cities Association Lease Finance Authority, and it is as needed basis in various locations and times. The representatives do receive a stipend of $150 per meeting. At this time, our representative is Mayor Pro Tem Damian, and alternate is our Chief of Police. Do we want to keep
If
it this
anybody-
way, or is anyone interested?
If anybody wants it, you guys can,
I'll go ahead.
you want
I'll
to
go
take
ahead,
it?
yes.
Okay.
And that's lease authority.
So Councilmember Lozano, are we in agreement with that?
That's fine.
And then chief is the alternate on that.
And Chief, it's the alternate, yes. Okay, Section 8, City Council of the City of Baldwin Park does hereby appoint the following persons as reps and alternate members of the Los Angeles County City Selection Committee. This is also as needed basis in various times and locations. Members receive no stipend. Oh, this is fun, and I have to be appointed to this one as well.
So, just so you know, yeah, so you do have to be mayor and then anybody could be,
So now we're looking for an alternate. We did have Ms. Monica Garcia, but she's no longer with us. Who's willing to be the alternate for that?
I'll take it.
And Mr. Lozano is the alternate. Number 9, City Council of the City of Baldwin Park does hereby appoint the following persons as reps and alternate members of the Southern California Association of Governments Annual Conference in the month of May. There is no stipend. We do need a representative, and I have alternate as Ms. Gina Ayala. Is somebody willing to be the representative? Again, this is only in the month of May. It's a
That's the
conference.
That's the next conference meeting.
Yes, in May. So we need a representative, and right now it's Ms. Gina Ayala as the alternate.
They also hold meetings on an as-needed basis.
Mhm.
But for sure, that one annual meeting, but they may also hold other meetings.
And I'll remain the alternate.
Okay,
I'll go ahead and take it.
perfect. Mr. Lozano, the representative. Section 10, City Council of City of Baldwin Park hereby appoint the following persons as reps and alternate members for the Foothill Transit Zone. It's held on the last Friday of the month at 7:45 a.m. The Foothill Transit Administrative Officers, members receive a stipend of $161 per meeting. Right now, the rep is Danny Damian, and the alternate is Mr. Estrada.
So Mayor, we're gonna swap.
You're gonna swap?
So Estrada will be the representative
Okay.
and I'll be his alternate.
Are we all good with that?
You guys good with that?
Okay. Okay, Section 11, City Council of the City of Baldwin Park does hereby appoint the following persons as reps and alternate members of the California Contract Cities Association, CCCA. The meetings are held the third Wednesday at 6 p.m. in various locations. Members don't get a stipend. Now, that is a conflict with our meetings, though.
They have, yeah, two annual conferences.
And they have 2 annual conferences, but that's the third Wednesday of the month as well, like us.
Yeah. Oh, conflicts.
There's a conflict
Oh.
with us. Yeah. So we need a representative for that. We have an alternate, Mr. Estrada, but I don't see how would we attend those meetings.
Yeah, 6,100 a year.
We can't be there because we have a meeting. So how does that?
So this is definitely more an association than it is a government organization. So the meetings, the regular meetings, that's more for the board. If you were to become a member of the board, then it could be a problem. But if you're not on the board, then the Wednesday meeting is not necessarily conflicted.
Okay.
I do believe that we should remain members of at least one of the city associations. You know, we dropped the independent cities, which we didn't get much value, but contract cities, you know, I mean, it does offer some value if we discontinue our membership in it. You know, I'm concerned that we may become too insular, but
Can you give me an example of one of the benefits?
can,
You-
I go to the, I tend to go to the CCA, it's not convention. I don't know what the right word is, but
Conference.
conference. So we go to the conference, and then so you get to hear from speakers. So primarily people that are at the higher levels of the county, which is beneficial. And then actually, I gave a presentation last year on our homeless efforts, advocating for everybody to do their part and to learn about the funding. So it helps in a way because they're also doing monthly emails. So you get to stay on top of what's happening at the county level and anything that might affect us because we are contract cities.
Okay. So do you want to be the representative?
Sure, I can jump to representative.
And does somebody want to be the alternate for that? Everybody? I'll go ahead and put myself down.
Okay.
Okay, number 12, the City Council of City of Baldwin Park does hereby appoint the following as reps and alternate members for the governing board of the San Gabriel Valley Mosquito Vector Control District. This is the second Friday at 10 a.m. in the district office. There is a $100 stipend per meeting. This is a 2-year term and it expires December of 25. Right now we have the Representative Estrada, so we do need an alternate.
I'll take
There's
the
no
alternate.
there's no alternate for.
Oh, there's no alternate. I'm
Oh.
sorry, you're right. None required. Till December 2025. Thank you for that, yes. Number 13, City Council of Baldwin Park does hereby appoint the following persons as reps and alternate members of the San Gabriel Valley Council of Governments. This is the third Thursday at 4 p.m. at the Foothill Transit Office. Members receive a $75 stipend. We have the representative Estrada and the alternate Danny Damian at this time. Was anybody interested or did you want to keep it as is?
Keep it as is.
Okay. And number 14, City Council of the City of Baldwin Park does hereby appoint the following persons as reps and alternate members of the Community Collaborative Committee, City of Baldwin Park and Baldwin Park Unified School District. They meet as on need basis. Members do not receive a stipend. And we have Danny Damian as a representative and Mr. Estrada as an alternate at this time.
Madam City Mayor,
Yes.
I'd like to serve on this committee.
Okay.
I will also, yeah, this is a committee that I definitely want to be on.
We've all been working on Baldwin Park Unified School District related projects. So we meet 2 at a time. Will we be able to have an alternate and then we can rotate?
Rotate the alternate, you mean?
We're not alternates because both of us jump on at once, so we're 2.
So only 2 of you can be at any given meeting. So in other
Because of the
words,
Brown Act,
if
right?
3 can be nominated to be on it, but only 2 can be on any one meeting, is that what you're suggesting?
Yeah, and the reason is because I know that we really didn't meet last year. I think we had maybe 2 meetings.
Mm-hmm.
So we really didn't we started to work on things, but we really didn't get anywhere because of the lack of, setting a set date for us to meet. So I think it's important that we continue the work that we started. So if we can do what Councilmember Estrada just mentioned, I think that would be great. I think it's imperative that we continue on the same route. We really need to be on there.
So you want to have 2 alternates and then you alternate meetings.
No, there's no alternate because it's a 2 and 2 meeting, so 2 of us will always be there. Or what we could do is meet with Enrique can meet with the school district, figure out a set date and time, and then depending on the schedule, might not work out for me or somebody else, and then
Yeah, so we can
So we can put
kind
3
of
people
rotate
down.
between Lozano, myself, and Estrada.
Right.
So there's always going to be 2 in the meeting
Mhm.
because there's no alternate. It's always 2 serving. So what we can do is we can alternate. Let's just say, for example, I'm not able to be there, so Lozano and Estrada can be there, or vice versa. If Estrada can't be there, then me and Lozano will be there, or whatever it
So
is.
all 3 of you will be
depending on the
part of it
schedule.
and you'll
Yeah.
take turns being
We'll
at the
just
meeting 2 at a
rotate.
time.
Yeah.
Is everyone
You
okay
guys
with
good
that?
with
That's
that?
fine.
I know Ms. Ayala and myself can't be on there because we work for the district, so. Okay. That
Madam
was
Mayor,
enough.
one more.
Oh, yes.
Sorry. The Measure BP Stakeholders Oversight Committee, that the current representatives are Mayor Pro Tem Damian and yourself, Madam Mayor. So if that is to remain as is, then it'll be the 2 of you. If there's a change, then this just like all the others. You
So
want
we have to nominate for the SOC as well?
Mhm.
For the
Yeah.
SOC committee, 2 liaisons? Okay. Do you, let me just stay on there. Yeah, I'll stay on there. Does anybody else? Unless mayor wants to remain on there as well.
I can remain on there as well.
You guys okay with that?
That's fine.
The SOC, okay.
Okay. So now,
So me and Avila will remain on the SOC.
do you need me to repeat every single, or can I just make the motion?
I think, did you guys get it? You guys summarize? They got it.
Okay.
City clerk has.
I can, if you want, I can run through it.
Okay, please.
For the Water Association, the representative would be Councilmember Estrada. Keep inactive. For the sanitation districts 15 and 22, the representative would be Mayor Avila. Alternate would be Councilmember Estrada. For the League of California Cities, the representative would be Mayor Avila. The alternate would be Councilmember Estrada. For the Civil Defense Area D General Membership Meeting, the representative would remain Chief of Police Lopez. Alternate would be Councilmember Lozano. For the Independent Cities Association, we will remain inactive. For the Independent Cities Association Lease Finance Authority, the representative would be Councilmember Lozano. The alternate would be Chief of Police Lopez. For the Los Angeles County City Selection Committee, the representative would be Mayor Avila. The alternate would be Councilmember Lozano. For the Southern California Association of Governments, the representative would be Councilmember Lozano, and the alternate would remain Councilmember Ayala. For the Foothill Transit Zone, the representative would be Councilmember Estrada. The alternate would be Mayor Pro Tem Damian. For the California Contract Cities Association, the representative would be Councilmember Avila. The alternate would be Mayor Avila. Excuse me, the representative would be Councilmember Estrada. The alternate would be Mayor Avila. For the San Gabriel Valley Mosquito and Vector Control District 2, the representative would remain Councilmember Estrada through 12/25. For the San Gabriel Valley Council of Governments, the representative would be Councilmember Estrada. The alternate would be Mayor Pro Tem Damian. For the Community Collaborative Committee, the 3 representatives would be Mayor Pro Tem Damian, Councilmember Estrada, and Councilmember Lozano. For the Measure BP Stakeholders Oversight Committee, stakeholders, the representative would be Mayor Pro Tem Damian. The alternate would be Mayor Avila.
Thank you for that. Do we have a motion to approve all these representatives?
I'll make a motion.
Do I hear a second?
Second,
A motion was made by Councilmember Estrada, second by Mayor Pro Tem Damian. Can I have roll call, please?
Councilmember Ayala,
Yes.
Councilmember Estrada,
Yes.
Councilmember Lozano,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Damian,
yes.
Mayor Avila.
Yes,
Item number 8 passes as amended 5-0.
thank you for that. Now we're still on reports of officers. Item number 9. This is to approve and adopt resolution number 2025-003 of the City of Baldwin Park, reaffirming the city's commitment to safeguarding the safety, rights, and dignity of all city residents in compliance with the California Value Act. Enrique?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. At a meeting in November, the council directed us to ensure that we keep this policy updated with the latest developments at the state level, and in consideration of the national discourse that's taking place around, folks who may have a immigration status that is still in process or maybe not yet legalized. And so with your direction, we have incorporated the language of SB 54, which is known as the, as you said in your introduction, Madam Mayor, the California Values Act, SB 54. That's how it's generally known. And the salient provisions of this law is that local resources cannot be used to assist federal immigration enforcement. For example, we cannot ask about an individual's immigration status. We cannot detain an individual on the basis of a hold request. We cannot provide information about a person's release date or transfer an individual to immigration authorities except under limited conditions. We cannot share personal information such as home address or work address unless it's publicly available. And we cannot make or intentionally participate in arrest based on civil immigration warrants. And we cannot perform the functions of an immigration officer. So by you approving this resolution, in effect, and by reference, we have localized SB 54, but as our city attorney can explain, SB 54 is the law of the land across the state. So we would have to comply with it anyway, but I believe by you approving this resolution, it definitely highlights the fact that we intend to comply with the state law. But Norma, you want to say anything more about it?
Yeah, I would just add that when the resolution was first enacted, the city's original resolution on this topic, SB 54 had not yet been enacted, so that came later. And so the idea here is to conform with the law that followed. As Enrique mentioned, we still need to comply regardless, but the resolution is an affirmation of that. Something else is, SB 54 has been challenged in the courts and as of now has been held to be constitutional. So, this is an area of law that will continue to face some challenges, but for now, that is what the city is, and the chief and his officers are directed to follow in terms of their protocols and their policies.
And Madam Mayor, you had also expressed an interest that we work with the school district because obviously they're equally on top of this so that, they're all their families and what have you. But Dr. Salazar is here to speak on the school district's perspective on this matter.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Avila and Mayor Pro Tem Damian and all of our council members. Ayala, hi, Mr. Lozano and Mr. Estrada, thank you. My name is Angela Salazar. I'm the Assistant Superintendent of Student Achievement for the Baldwin Park Unified School District. I'm here on behalf of Dr. Ferlin Mendoza, our superintendent. He apologizes. He had a conflicting commitment tonight, but I know that he's been working closely already with the city since November with city officials regarding this matter. As the city is held compliant to the law, so is the school district, but we wanted to share our appreciation for your leadership in making this resolution tonight because it not only affirms that we're following the law, but it provides reassurances. And we know from daily contact with our students and their parents that there is a lot of worry. Since November, we've had, especially our high school students who are applying for colleges, we've had parents express grave concern about their livelihoods, their educational rights, and their family unity. And so by making the families aware through your resolution that this law exists and that we will comply, it is a great statement, and we support you, and we also are in partnership with you on that. I will share with you that in addition to the protocols that you described with law enforcement, we have our own, even with law enforcement, certain protocols we follow when people come in and want to speak to students or have access to records. We also are compliant with a different law called FERPA, which is the Family Educational Rights what's the rest of that? And Privacy Act. And so we are held quite bound to access to student information and their addresses, their phone numbers, their any of that. And even when we do partnerships with like data agencies for software, we have to set certain parameters to make sure they're in compliance with FERPA, so our student information does not get released. So I just wanted to make you aware that we also are reviewing our own laws and practices that are already, as was stated, part of California law, but doing things to help our families be aware of that and provide reassurances. Another example would be related to applying for colleges. The FAFSA is a process to apply for colleges. And so many of our high school students went to their administrators and teachers and said, I don't want to apply for the FAFSA. I don't want to because I'm afraid of my family information. But the FAFSA right now, there's a different regulation that requires that we as school district make sure every senior applies to FAFSA. So that's this kind of contradiction or anxiety that it creates. And so we've brought in speakers from the colleges to explain the protection of that data when they apply for the federal assistance and aid. And so again, just want to be here to thank you for your leadership, not just today, but even immediately in November. It was known that the city council had immediately expressed concern and compassion for our students, for our residents, and that they would be making clarification with this resolution today.
Thank you, Dr. Salazar. And you know, that's what makes our community so unique, that we work together, that we fight for our families, we fight for our communities, because everybody deserves to be respected. And they need to be taken care of, and they need to be protected. And that's why back in 2017, we did the resolution, and now we updated it to make sure it's in line with what we need to have in place to make sure that our families are safeguarded. As you know, I work for the school district, and yes, I get a lot of questions asked, you know, what's going to happen to me? What's going to happen to my mom and dad? Because the students may be born here, but maybe not mom and dad. But I just want our community to know that we are working together, the school district, the police department, we are all uniting to make sure that our community is safe, and that we will do everything in our power to protect them, that we are here for them, and that if they have any question, to please feel free to come and ask us, because we are here to protect them from whatever we can. Yes, we're going to have a new president as of February 20th, or January 20th, excuse me, but you should not fear that, because we are working on this together. We will be getting through this together, so don't fear. Let's work together and huddle and continue to plan so that we can move our families forward. Thank you, Dr. Salazar, for being here.
Thank you for the opportunity to share.
Has any comments on this item?
Oh, sorry.
Do a motion.
Before you make a motion, I
Yeah.
just wanted to, it's really, I think it's really important to make this statement. And as Dr. had said, it's although it's already state law, it's very important that we reiterate it to our constituents and our residents, so that they know that the city is standing with them and making sure that everybody is protected. But I just wanted to add that it would probably be very beneficial if we could see it, we can incorporate some Know Your Rights training events so that people feel a bit more comfortable asking questions and having access to that legal guidance. Really important. And even in the maybe even answer some questions regarding, you know, the like scholarships and FAFSAs, and you know how it's still going to be safe for them to apply, and that there's nothing that may put them in jeopardy, because we don't want to we want to make sure that people aren't, you know, refusing opportunities out of fear. That's okay
And-
with everybody.
And I actually agree with Councilmember Estrada on that. I believe LA Voice or maybe some of those organizations would be willing to put a community workshop together.
Mhm.
I know they've done it in the past. I believe it was called Know Your Rights. And they usually bring legal counsel for free to assist our families in the community with any questions that they may have in reference to legal status. So I think that would be a great idea of maybe we can have city staff reach out to either LA Voice or any other organization that would come to our community and host one of these events, either at one of our city facilities or maybe even at one of our churches. I know they've done it at St. John's in the past, at the hall. So that would be a great thing to bring to our community and just make sure that we promote and advertise it, work with the school district so that we can make sure we get it to the parents at the schools so that they can attend these the workshops.
For Dr. Salazar, I'm not sure if we would be able to implement these meetings at your parent meetings at the schools. I know every site has parent meetings and some sites are very well attended by the parent meetings. Maybe we can have presenters there. So we will talk to you to see if that's possible. And then on the same note, we are looking to having Consulado Mexicano, a mobile Consulado Mexicano here in the city of Baldwin Park somewhere around March. And they're also going to have a lot of information to help immigrant residents with whatever information they will need. So just look for that information also. That's coming in March. They have been very helpful and they're just as concerned and willing to help our residents here in Baldwin Park. Okay, anybody else want to comment on that item? Do I hear a motion to approve this item?
Make a motion.
I will second.
Motion to approve by Councilmember Estrada, second by Mayor Pro Tem Damian. Can I have roll call, please?
Councilmember Ayala,
Yes.
Councilmember Estrada,
Yes.
Councilmember Lozano,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Damian,
Yes.
Mayor Avila.
Yes,
Motion carries 5-0.
thank you for that. Okay, now, City Council acting as the successor agency of the dissolved Community Development Commission. We are going into SA1, SA2, and SA3 to approve all at once. Do I hear a motion?
I will make a motion to approve.
I second.
Okay, motion by Mayor Pro Tem Damian and second by Councilmember Ayala. May I have roll call, please?
Councilmember Ayala,
Yes.
Councilmember Estrada,
Yes.
Councilmember Lozano,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Damian,
Yes.
Mayor Avila.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you for that. Now we're going into finance consent calendar. Item 1, Treasurer's Report, Finance, November 2024. Do I have a motion?
I'll motion to approve.
I second.
Motion by Mayor Pro Tem Damian and second by Councilmember Ayala. May I have roll call, please?
Councilmember Ayala,
Yes.
Councilmember Estrada,
Yes.
Councilmember Lozano,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Damian,
Yes.
Mayor Avila.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. And now we're going into the housing consent calendar with items 1, 2, and 3. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
All right. I second.
Motion by Mayor Pro Tem Damian and second by Councilmember Ayala. May I have roll call, please?
Councilmember Ayala,
Yes.
Councilmember Estrada,
Yes.
Councilmember Lozano,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Damian,
Yes.
Mayor Avila.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you all. And now we are going to City Council, City Clerk, City Treasurer, staff reports and communications. The first, I am up first. As you all know, we always have the state of the city every single year. Our staff works really hard. Parks and Recreations puts on a great event. But I really want to see consensus from City Council to discuss reformatting the State of the City event and to give staff direction to bring back recommendations. As I said, they work a lot to get this program and we do have all the information of everything that we have achieved during the year for our city. However, I feel that we're always looking into where can we save money, how can we better reach our community. I noticed that not a lot of community members are able to attend because we do have it during the day. So I have ideas of whichever way we can go. Manny, do you have anything for me at this time on ideas on what we can do?
Yes, Madam Mayor, I passed out a a sheet in regards to proposed options. And if you would like, I could spend about 60 seconds on 7 options that we have. Option number 1 is our traditional option, and it's a multicolor sheet, the white sheet with a few different colors on there. Option number 2, host a city council meeting, and the mayor can go ahead and give highlights at a city council meeting for the price below. And then the third option, digital video to be released on YouTube channel. We would film inside the council chambers and something like what we did during COVID a few years back. So that's another option. The fourth option, design infographics and produce that in the May, June, July Baldwin Park Now. And that would be a design and print. Another option is infographics only, no hard copies, just print on the city's social media platforms as well as our website. And the last and final 2 options, print or create an article in the Baldwin Park Now with some infographics to assist it on social media. And the final, but not the least, is to print a article in the Baldwin Park Now. In the next publication that we could prepare, one would be the May edition of the Baldwin Park Now, officially May, June, and July. So the top option number 1 is approximately $20,000, and the least expensive is closer to $2,000 for the Baldwin Park Now. So this concludes my brief presentation. As soon as you give me direction, we will start planning and bring a formal report to the subsequent city council meeting on Wednesday, February 5th. Thank you.
Thank you for that. I'm trying to look at this. Just having maybe a presentation, a video presentation, like a slideshow on our platform and social media platforms, and maybe somebody narrating the events, or just a slideshow put up on our platform so everybody could see, and more people would get to see all the highlights for our city. How about that, Manny? What do you think about that? Do we have a cost estimate on that?
Absolutely. That would probably be more closer to a infographic type of publication with a media
Something we can
with a
do
social
in-house?
media platform. I don't believe we could conduct this in-house. It is a pretty detailed type of work. All the
Okay.
department heads work very hard in putting together all the accomplishments. As soon as we put together the accomplishments, then we will have a professional firm create a script and some of the slideshows. Staff can put together the slideshow, but we would need a professional speechwriter to craft the message.
Okay, and it would just be narrated. They don't have to be, the person does not have to be on video, just their voice and the slideshows going through. So we don't have to get the camera or anything like that
Sure,
here. So
it would
that would
be-
save us a lot of money. I don't know how you feel about that.
I'm good. So the speech writing is what's more expensive, the $10,000?
Yeah, the speech writing is rather expensive, as well as a videographer and a teleprompter. Those traditionally are the most expensive items.
So if we do what Mayor Avila is suggesting, and that eliminates the teleprompter and the videographer, how much more or less would the speech writing cost?
I still think the speech writing would probably be about,
1,000.
yes, about 10,000, maybe a little bit less. It is a very expensive service.
Excuse me, Manny,
Yes, sir.
why don't we use AI for the speech writing? It's there. It could be formulated
Actually,
about,
the speech would actually be closer to about $3,500.
Okay.
So $3,500, and we would have someone craft the slide presentation staff in a combination of our PR firm. So with that, I'm thinking design probably closer to $7,500.
That's not bad compared to 20,000. I like that idea. I don't know how the rest of you feel.
I,
And we,
I would just,
again, we need to look at ways that our community really sees everything that's going on because they don't attend the event because they're all out working. And I think if we put it up on our social media platforms, you're most likely to click on it and and watch it from home.
yeah, Mayor, I would just ask that we look at incorporating it. So it's nice to do it's nice to do the in-person one because we get to see some of our residents, but I totally agree that everybody's at work during that time. But I think if we're going towards a digital, it's an opportunity to make sure that more people are able to read it. So incorporating
Several languages? Agree. So that would probably bring up the price a little bit more.
Yes.
So if you can look into that, that'd be ideal. Look at the main languages in our city.
Very good.
Do we need to take a vote on this or just go ahead and direction? Just so go ahead and do that, Manny, and bring it back.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Mayor Pro Tem Damian seeks consensus from the city council. Go ahead, that's yours.
Thank you, Mayor. I forgot I had one here. Okay, so mine is to seek consensus from the city council to request funding of up to 10,000 a year for Police Department Community Outreach Resource Engagement Team, also known as CORE, funds to be used for homeless-related emergency assistance. So it's basically directing staff to find a funding source that is not from the general fund to provide $10,000. And I'll give you just a brief example. As you guys know, we have two of our police officers that are part of this quality of life team, also known as that. But they're out there dealing with the homelessness, picking up a lot of the stuff from the encampments. You've probably seen the truck full of stuff in the back. A lot of those times, so I forgot to read the report, but there was a report where I think they've assisted. Chief, remind me how many homeless individuals accepted assistance last year?
You know, I left the report on
I
my
did
desk.
too. I forgot about it, but I think I had a conversation with Enrique. I forget how many people were that accepted assistance. However, the individuals that accept the assistance don't always accept it at the first try. What I mean by that is they basically have to earn these officers' trust. So a lot of the times, you know, they may have approached this individual, you know, 5, 10 times before the individual finally said, you know what, I'll go ahead and accept assistance from you. And they'll either contact Lakata, put them into a home or whatever it may be. But during the process of that, our police officers are having to spend their own money to either purchase food for them, buy them a blanket, buy them a, you know, pair of clothes, whatever it may be. And so it's almost kind of like the domestic violence situation, right? Where we don't want our police officers having to, you know, always have to fork out their money out of their own pocket. So if we can find a funding source for up to $10,000 a year, and it doesn't mean that they're going to spend the full $10,000, but at least it's there for any of that type. Also for hotels, sometimes they have to place them in a hotel. So that is my consensus to direct staff to go ahead and find the $10,000 annually from a different funding source other than the general fund.
You know, that is a great idea, Mayor Pro Tem Damian. I know our officers that are doing the outreach are doing an exceptional job with them. I've seen how many people they have been able to get off the street and how many people they actually talk to and the trust, the way they treat them. It is amazing. It is heartwarming to see that our officers, but not just those two officers that are out there, all of our police department are doing an amazing job reaching out, trying to get these people off the streets and get them the help that they need. A lot of these people don't even know they want help until somebody reaches out to them. A lot of these people don't even know that they don't want to feel that way anymore until they start feeling better and they realize, wow, I've been missing out on life. So thank you for that. And I think we do need to make sure we have those funds to make it easier for those officers to get the process started for these individuals. Thank you. That's a great idea. I'm totally for that.
You guys in consensus with that?
Yes, absolutely.
You guys got your direction, Enrique? Thank you, guys.
Perfect. Thank you. Councilmember Estrada,
Great.
you are next.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. So I just, well, I wanted to ask that we connect with the Baldwin Park Unified School District. We have one right here. But if, I'm not sure if they are already, but I don't believe they are, the adult transition program, incorporating them into our Youth Gen workforce program so that they can also have some life experiences and work experience as well. I think it's very, very beneficial. And then of course, it would also be making sure that we're helping all of our students in one way or another. So I don't know if Enrique.
Mayor, what's the adult transition program? That's,
Doctor, do you think you give a better definition of it?
Explanation, please.
I don't want to butcher it.
The Adult Transition Program is now housed on Baldwin Park Boulevard, right next to BP STEM Academy. It's the former Santa Fe campus. So the school is there now. It used to be right next to North Park High School between North Park and Getty's. This school year, they just moved to that nicer campus. So we're very happy for them. They have right now 3 teachers and approximately 40 students in the program. It serves students who are ages 18 to 22 because they had gone through our K-12 program and with moderate to severe disabilities and were not in a diploma pathway due to their inability to achieve those standards at the state requirements for a diploma. But because of that, they also became legally entitled to have additional education until they're age 22. So they do have a lot of work experience programs within their curriculum as well and through different grant opportunities, but I am not 100% sure that carries through summer. And I know that the city's partnership program does have summertime. So it would definitely be worth exploring to give them access through the program that the city sponsors and supports. Or try to maybe blend with things they have during the year to see if there's ways to carry them on through the summer.
I think it's great
Yeah, it's great.
to look into that. Yeah, definitely.
Full support.
Yeah, and I did get to learn about the adult transition program when it was housed at North Park. I did get a little tour, and so I wanted to make sure that we find ways to help them and assist them in learning and growing.
Thank you.
Yes, I'm in agreement.
Yes, thank you.
I agree.
Everybody agreement with
Yes.
us?
And then Mayor, one more before I didn't write it down here, but just recently I found out there's a NOFA for homeownership programs at the state level.
Okay.
Maybe something worth looking into. And then on the topic of homelessness, Measure 8 passed, and it is we are on the verge of converting into that tax system, I think in a couple of months.
Mhm.
The county and Ami Williams have sent out some invitations to make sure that we are getting the education we need to learn about it. So if some of our staff is able to attend, that would be also beneficial for us.
Yeah, make sure you send us the info, please. Okay. Councilmember Lozano.
Yeah, thank you. Let me read off because what I'm reading here, it's short and it's not to the point of what I had originally requested. So I'll read off now and bear with me. What I wanted for the police department to establish a strategic plan for 1 year, 3 year, and a 5-year plan. This is not unique and extraordinary, as I've seen many forward-looking departments, many of our neighbor cities have established. I also recall at one point that the jail was to bring in the CHP to do bookings. I literally was present in which all what was needed was to open the jail up to the CHP because all of the hard work was completed for the PD to begin. As such, I would like to know where are we with this project? My understanding is the CHP still has not booked at our jails. Another item is the safety agreement with the school district. Is the city providing free service to them? I know they receive funding for safety by the state and federal government. Are we receiving this amount or portion? Vandalism, recuperation fees. There was an attempt to start collecting fees for vandalism. How many have we filed charges against and have recouped our fees? Booking fees, DUI recoup fees, and alarm fees. Are we collecting all those? And lastly, we need to start looking at every department and having opportunities to generate revenue, recoup fees, and save monies. Our community cannot afford to just give us money and not be accountable for it. Now, I'll send that out again because I sent some of the department because obviously the police department being the biggest department in the city, and all these other potential areas that we could bring revenue in. So Chief, I'll send that off to you so that at least we have that, and I'll send it out to the council members. All right, thank you.
And the next one's also yours, sir.
Yeah, the second one the last one that I have is the, back when I was part of the city council and the team that were here, we were able to have 2 streets or 3 streets that had to be paved. The first one was California. We struggled to get signatures 100%, and we had to have 100% prior to a special tax lien being placed on the property taxes for about I believe it was, I don't know if it's 30 to 40 years. And we weren't successful until like the 5th time. Then that happened again on Elizabeth Street, and I believe Baldwin. So when I saw Nolina Street being paved, and I remember I struggled, Gene, you were part of it, and so was all the council members that were here, walking there. We could never get 100%, and we just couldn't. And we knew that that was going to cost in the hundreds and thousands of dollars, because there were septic tanks, they needed sewer equipment and all this in that particular area. And I know, and again, I just want to make sure we're balancing, because currently right now, and it's another one that was when I was in office and the team that was there, we have 2 streets that are really bad. And that the first one right off of Clark and Los Angeles, Downey Street, and also Bogart Street. I've struggled again back then trying to get the full signatures. So I don't know what funds were used for Alina, but if they're available, then I want to make sure that these residents, unless that was a one-time thing or grant, whatever the case was, if someone could bring that and explain that, because those streets are really bad and they're in need of repair. These are homeowners, and like they all complain, we pay property taxes and this is what we have. Again, some of the residents not knowing that these are private streets, that when you purchase the home, they were not allocated towards the city. But nevertheless, I want to mention that we could bring that back, so at least we could have some type of tools or direction working in that particular area. So I don't, who's the one that would be handling this from?
So Public Works and myself.
Okay, alrighty, yeah.
But just a quick, we'll do all of that, but Calino was paid with ARPA funds.
Oh, it was?
Yes.
Oh, awesome.
And because of the sewer component, ironically, is what gave us the opportunity to leverage.
But those are limited funds then.
Well, sewer, because ARPA had special eligibility for wastewater improvements. So but
I
it
want to
was,
thank the city council, because that was long overdue. I mean, the way the flooded area during the rains and all that, incredible. Yes, I actually drove through there. But if you could see, we could work somehow here.
Yeah.
Because we don't have too many streets that are like that, but those 2 have been like that for years. there.
Elton Street comes to mind as well, where the
Another one.
animal shelter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
There's a lot of those.
no, that was paved. That was there was some kind of I forgot what the businesses there, and they actually did the slurry pave through there, the asphalt pavement.
Yeah, it's back
There's
to being
Oh,
pretty
man,
much.
There's a few private streets in Baldwin Park that need that TLC.
We
Absolutely.
could bring it back and maybe look at some of those streets. Obviously, of course, if it, it's not fair for the other residents, right? So we got to be careful with that particular area, but we'll talk about it. It's not on the council
Yeah.
agenda until next time. Thank you. All righty. Thank you, Councilman.
Thank you. Anyone else? Thank you, sir. Anyone else has anything else?
Yeah, Mayor, I'm sorry, I wanted to make sure that everyone who had put something on the agenda spoke before I go and add what I didn't put. One of them was what I was going to say in closed session.
Oh,
So if it's okay, I'll go ahead and mention that now. So I would like to request for the next closed session meeting, an overall performance review of the E-team, a financial update, and expectations. I would also like a CEO performance review and expectations of goal settings, as well as the HR manager for performance review, expectations, and goal settings as well. Does anyone have any questions?
No? Do you have like a deadline or?
Can I object?
Let him be first.
You're not gonna. Well, this will be for the next. Well, obviously, we want to see how heavy our next council meeting closed session agenda is.
That's kind of
Because
cutting it short.
this is going to be a pretty lengthy.
We do have a
discussion.
lot planned,
So
just
if
on
it- if it's
litigation.
not,
Mhm.
so if we do have a lot planned for next meeting, then let's try to focus on the meeting after that. I would like to do it as soon as possible, number one. And number two, this is more because it is the beginning of the year.
Mhm.
So we just want to make sure that we are on the same page. This is something that's going to be positive. It's going to be more of, what our expectations are, what our goals are for the year. And so that this way we're all on the same page. And then this way we also get a financial update, because there was some things that were discussed in closed session. So that would be my direction for staff.
Okay,
Is okay with that?
I'm good.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Again, Mr.
Enrique, you're
Madam
not-
Mayor,
Going to be first.
just a quick update. I want to inform the city council that by and large, we have recovered from the most significant damage caused by the recent windstorm. Electric power was fully restored for the entire city as of Friday, January 14th at around 2:30 a.m. We remain in cleanup mode and still responding to service requests and doing further inspections of our public assets, such as the large trees that are on Ramona, Padillo, and Baldwin Park, the large pine trees with a huge profile that are more prone to be damaged by the wind or even worse. So we urge and encourage residents to report to us at 626-960-3993 any remaining outstanding requests. In terms of other post-event actions, I want you to know that the governor's declaration of the state of emergency will cover us for eligibility for any expenses submitted for reimbursement. So we're covered in that regard. We're still compiling the information. Each department, along with working with finance, will do as that. We're also undertaking a review of our emergency operations organization, which is codified in Chapter 36 of our municipal code, as well as in our operations plan, which was last updated in 2005, so it's well overdue for an update. Okay?
Great to hear. Thank you.
And then
You know-
just,
Go ahead.
sorry, just really quick before I forget, along the lines with that, I did speak to Veronica Lopez, District Director for Assemblywoman Blanca Rubio. And I just want to say that she was happy to share that through the Assemblywoman, they were able to provide $5,000 in Walmart gift cards to our Baldwin Park Charitable Relief Foundation for the California wildfire recovery. So I think Manny, is Manny here? Oh, there he is. I think you're aware of that, correct? So with that, I would like to thank the Assemblywoman for assisting us with that. So thank you.
Thank you for that. And I just want to remind everybody, if you see something, say something. We need to keep an eye out for everybody. Again, thank you to everybody that has responded to this crazy weather and the winds out there. And I know a lot of people are bashing Southern California Edison, but they had their hands full. And we may not think so because the lights were out for a couple of days here in Baldwin Park, but there were some areas like in Upland that were out longer. And Southern California Edison doesn't get enough credit. The job that they're doing, the dangerous job that they were doing with this weather. So I want to thank them as well. And again, thank you to everybody that stepped up and continues to protect our city and our residents. And I want to thank you for my first meeting as mayor, for having me here representing the city of Baldwin Park. It was pretty exciting. So thank you.
Mayor, if I may, I
Yes.
just want to just a quick plug. I do want to thank everybody for all the service to our community through these winds and neighboring wildfires, and from recreation to police to public works. Everywhere you would drive in the city, there was trucks and our employees giving their all. But also importantly, Enrique for his leadership and then constant communication throughout. I think we're on version 14 of the email or something, but thank you. So thank you so much, and congratulations, Mayor, on your first meeting.
Mayor, may I? Okay. Happy New Year first off to everybody. I know it's been a crazy first 15 days of the year already. First and foremost, I want to give my condolences to all of the victims of the fires on both ends of our county, because there's been such a devastation, such a big loss all across our county right now. My family has been personally affected, as one of our council members mentioned earlier. So thank you. I've been out to the area just 3 days after everything went down and seeing all the sheer devastation and the loss. It's very imaginable, and it's something I don't ever wish on anybody. It's just insane. So first and foremost, thank you. I want to give a big shout out and a big thanks to all of our public works team who stepped up, worked round the clock to take care of our streets and take care of our community. I know there was such a lot of debris all around the place from all the crazy winds that we got that day. And a big thank you to our PD department as well. I know you guys have been out there helping out with the fires and on watch duty out there. But also, first and foremost, I saw you guys up and down the streets when the winds kicked in, and you guys helped with traffic control and everything in between. So thank you to everybody. And Enrique, of course, thank you. It was very helpful to get all those step-by-step notifications, which really helped. So when we did have residents reaching out to us, asking us questions, we were able to kind of, give them some information based on what you were providing to us. So thank you again. Thank you.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, Mayor, I also wanted to acknowledge a lot of the local businesses also stepped up and published that they would help anybody who needed help during the fires and after, and helping them with anything from meals or food or even just self-care. So, a lot of the ballpark businesses stepped up, even though, there was nobody directly impacted in our area. And that was really nice to see that our businesses are involved beyond just the business factor. So want to make sure we shout that
Thank
out.
you. Yes, and that's what Baldwin Park will be known for, working together, not just for ourselves, but for everyone else. Also, Parks and Recreation was very involved. The day after, they were out there taking pictures. So all the footage that you see, that's Parks and Rec being out there in the middle of the street underneath dangerous situations, making sure we're informed of everything that's going on. As a reminder, Walmart is giving out food from today through Sunday from 11 to 4. I know the school district has forwarded the information to our families. So make sure you repost on our pages to make sure that everybody benefits from it. Police department, make sure you go out and have your meals. They made sure to tell us they want our police department out there to make sure they're eating, our staff, our fire department, everybody that's working for the city, they're more than welcome. They're not asking questions, you just show up. And police department and fire department, you don't have to get in line. You just go to the side and they'll serve you. Thank you, everybody. I think that's all. Anything else? Have a beautiful night, everybody. God bless. And now I would adjourn the meeting. Yes, at 8:45. Good time.